Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another live show on the channel discussing all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news and rumours and gossip going around today. And surprise, it looks like Ole is set to stay. And you know what? It was the international break. Ole should have been sacked. The performance was sackable. You're thinking this is the perfect time to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Surely they're going to finally go out there and sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Surely United are going to do it. They can't make any excuses up. It's the international break. They've got 2 weeks to do it. Ole's effed off on holiday, making their job a lot easier. And we haven't sacked him yet. We have not sacked him. And it doesn't look like he's going to be sacked for at least another 3 games. Apparently, the football we're playing has got to get even worse for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to get sacked. And I don't think it's possible for the football to get any worse because I'm basically being buried alive watching Manchester United. So unless they're going to inform worse ways of torture on me, Ole is not getting sacked for the next month. Now, I believe Gunnar Solskjaer will be sacked. I believe that Ole's going to be sacked before Christmas. I just think the way the football he's playing is not sustainable. It's very, very obvious that the players are not playing for Ole. I mean, I'm just going to throw this out, guys. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer returns to training today. All of a sudden today, stories are coming out about how players don't like Ole, how players think it's unfair that this player isn't playing, all of that. The day Ole returns to training, all these dressing room stories are coming out. Coincidence? I think not. I think it's very, very obvious that these players do not want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as Manchester United manager. They do not believe in him. We know the players don't rate the coaches, and they have more than enough reasons to not rate the coaches. It's very, very obvious that the players want to change at this club, and the players are not happy with Ole returning, as well. It's so obvious by the reports, and Manchester United is an absolute mess from top to bottom, guys, and I will be giving you my in-depth thoughts on that. I mean, we're doomed, as Gamer says. And Alice, do you think this is worse than the Moyes era? Yes, because even though the results were awful under the Moyes era, at least Moyes can say he didn't get all his transfer targets. At least Moyes didn't buy a £72 million right winger just to try and turn him into a right wing back. At least the football we played under Moyes was somewhat decent football despite the results. Under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it is shocking results, shocking football, and most importantly, ruining players. At least Moyes rotated a bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, Ole is not rotating. It's the same crap players week in, week out, but it's the football we're playing. Absolutely atrocious. I mean, look, we might have only lost 2-0 to Manchester City. And, if we'd lost 2-0 to Manchester City under David Moyes, I guarantee you that 2-0 loss to Manchester City under David Moyes wouldn't have been as painful as this 2-0 loss to Manchester City because of how bad the performance was. I think, this is awful. As David Hughes says, 6 defeats in the last 12. Brain Sample says Zidane, and I think Zidane's a PR spinner. We'll talk about Zidane news because I'm going to go off what Fabrizio Romano says, because as someone that pays attention to a lot of journalists in football, Fabrizio Romano is right more times than he's wrong. And a lot of other journalists are wrong more times than they're right. Although some decent, credible journalists are saying United are going to get Zidane, and United are trying to Zidane, United and talk to Zidane. Although some generally decent sources in journalism have linked United to Zidane, with Fabrizio Romano says nothing's going on, I'm going to believe that Fabrizio Romano with nothing going on. The Athletic, Simon Stone and Fabrizio are journalists I generally listen to. The Manchester Evening News is normally somewhat credible, depending on who writes. But a lot of the other sources, although they get it right, I can't say, I'm not going to listen to them over Fabrizio Romano. Duncan Castles, The Times, The Express, the Manchester Evening News, they can all say Zidane's in talks. But if Fabrizio Romano says Zidane's not in talks, then obviously I'm going to believe Mr. Don, Fabrizio Romano. We all got played like fools. Look, we all knew that Ole should have been sacked. I always said on this channel, look, that there's rumours about Zidane, there's rumours about Rodgers, but it's Manchester United. We just don't know. We knew it was Sancho 2 summers ago. It looked like Sancho was coming and he didn't come. United can very much make it look like something's going to happen and make a lot of fans believe something's going to happen, that Ole's going to be sacked, that Zidane's going to be coming in through the power of the press, the PR spin, and not do it because, they think, we don't want a negative interaction. So if we make the fans believe this is going to happen, when we eventually keep Ole, there's going to be less outrage because we're going to, for the first whole week of us keeping Ole, we're going to convince them that we're not. And I think I've said this before, the thing about Manchester United is they're very, very good with the press, the PR spin. And I said, look, I want Zidane to come. I want Rodgers to come. I said I never really believed Zidane was going to come, but there are lots of reports linking Zidane, so I'm going to report it. I'm going to give you my thoughts. I said we're with Rodgers. I think we want Rodgers. It wouldn't surprise me if we wanted Rodgers, but I don't think we can get Rodgers. And I said United are most likely going to wait till Poch is available to sack Ole. I said United will only really want to sack Ole if Poch or Rodgers is available. They won't want to sack Ole unless there's a London yes man waiting for them. Zizou won't come to Old Trafford, as Paul says. I think it's very, very unlikely that he does, but I don't think it's impossible. But I think with a club like Manchester United, it's much harder to get a manager like Zidane in when your board's incompetent. Zidane never said no or yes to the United job. That is coming out that apparently United didn't even contact Zidane, so it's not like he had a chance to even say no. And if the Glazers leave, who would you take, Alice? Anyone that's just going to actually want what's best for this club. And subscribe and like, as Noah says. Alice, Pogba is a negative figure in the team and affects others. Lukaku escaped him. I don't want to talk about Paul Pogba, his impact on the squad and all of that, because at the end of the day, Paul Pogba is nothing compared to the Glazers, nothing compared to the coaching. You know, Paul Pogba's not a problem at Manchester United. I think people like to spin it on Paul Pogba. You know, could he be playing better? Yes. Is he the problem? No. Andrew says, I don't believe the Ten Hag links either. He's still under contract with the summer, and so is Ole. So why not just do it now? Seems like BS. Yeah, I am going to talk about the Ten Hag links. And what's really come out about Ten Hag is United are keeping Ole to the summer because they don't want to get anyone in because Ten Hag's the summer target. Where's this come out from? A source that I've never even fucking heard of. It was like JD. I'll find the source. I'll figure. It's almost. I've liked it on Twitter. But there's like this rumours and reports basically that Manchester United, the reason we're not going for another manager is because we're just going to wait for the summer to get our main target, Ten Hag, and we think there's no point getting someone in if we want Ten Hag in the summer. Is it from a reliable source? No. I mean, I can't remember what source it's from, so I will go check that. I will go fact check that for you. By the way, is it what I'd like to happen? Possibly keeping Ole and getting Ten Hag in the summer. I'd take it. But I just don't believe that it's worth waiting until the summer to get a manager in, because the football we're playing right now is so atrocious. It doesn't look like we're going to get top four. So even if we do get Ten Hag in, you know, if he comes in and United are playing this awful football and we don't get top four, then he's going to have to do another rebuild. I want Ten Hag to come in and manage the squad. I don't want to see another rebuild. I want a manager to come in and manage the squad, because I believe the squad that we have right now is good enough to win a Premier League title, is good enough to win a Champions League title, but it's not performing anywhere near its best ability. And that's why I believe a manager should be sacked. Now, would I take Ten Hag? Yes. But do I think Ole needs to be sacked before the end of the season? Yes. And I still believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer won't make it to Christmas, because I said this at the beginning of the video. The football Ole's playing is not sustainable. There's no style of football. There's no style of play. We're getting out-tacticked by every manager. He's not making it to Christmas unless he changes something. Ole's a stubborn manager. Ole will not change the basics. He will change the formation, but he'll still stick with his Mukfred and his favourites. They are the players costing him a job. I said this on Twitter earlier, and I've said it 1,000 times on this channel. If your manager loses 5-0 to Liverpool, and the only player he drops from that starting 11 after the 5-0 to Liverpool is Marcus Rashford, is that manager good enough to manage Manchester United? No, because Fergie would have dropped at least 6 of those players. You do not lose 5-0 to Liverpool, then start Manchester United's next big game at home to Manchester City. Because what happened versus Manchester City? It was just as bad as the 5-0 loss versus Liverpool, and 10 of those individuals started in both games. So some of those individuals on the pitch have to be the problem. And if the manager can't identify which players on the pitch is the problem, then he's not good enough to be Manchester United manager. At the end of the day, the players are underperforming, and if all the players are underperforming, it does come back to the manager. It does come back to the coaching. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is on thin ice, and you're thinking, surely if Ole wants to save his job because he's basically fucked, he'd change something up. And he still hasn't changed anything up. He still hasn't played Donny. He still hasn't played Matic. And the man management from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is an absolute disgrace. I'm just going to throw that out now. Honestly, if we keep Ole, I can just see our next few games are going to go scrape a win against Watford, draw Villarreal, lose to Chelsea, and then next month we will likely lose to Arsenal and Palace. I mean, honestly, you know, this is the thing. You know, if you lose to Arsenal, you can't even go on Twitter. And unfortunately, I do believe that could be the case. And Brendan Rodgers, unlikely, more likely Zidane or Ten Hag, says Steve. I think Brendan Rodgers is more likely if we're in the summer, but I think mid-season it'll be hard to get him to escape Leicester, because unfortunately, if we want Rodgers now, we have to pay money for him. And what do the Glazers not want to do? Spend money. It came out that the Glazers, no matter who's manager of Manchester United in January, will apparently not be spending any money in the January transfer window. You know, exactly, yeah. I think the only way the Glazers spend money in the January transfer window is if we're sitting there in the relegation zone. Give Ole a lifetime contract. No, thank you. And Ten Hag and Rodgers can't come now. Zidane don't want to come. Ralph Ragnick wants to come, but they're not letting him. Just like Conte. And that comes back to the problem. You know, you can be Ollie out all you want, but at the end of the day, anyone, you could be the most Ollie out person in the world, but we'll have to sit here and admit the Glazers need to leave before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know what? Because you know what? You can replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You can get a world-class manager in. But world-class managers have not succeeded at Manchester United. Jose Mourinho had half success. He won trophies, but he didn't win the 2 trophies that mattered, the Premier League and the Champions League. Van Gaal had half success. You know, we bring in elite managers and they're not succeeding at Manchester United. So although this squad is brilliant, what tells you bringing an elite manager is going to mean it's all okay? Nothing. Because at the end of the day, it's not all going to be okay until the owners are gone, until you've got owners that care about this club. You know, changing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is definitely going to improve the squad. And I think definitely we're nailed on top 4. You know, we'll be finishing above West Ham and Arsenal comfortably with an elite manager. We should be. But I can't say that we're going to win a Premier League or a Champions League if we are going to replace Ole with a new manager right now, because I still look at the owners. I still look at, will they actually back this manager long term? Will they give the manager what he wants? And I know that doesn't really happen with our owners. So, you know, whether you're Ole out, the most Ole out person in the world, you still have to admit, Glazers out before Ole. Will Ralph be like Van Gaal? He plays a little bit more expansive attacking football than Van Gaal, and Jonas likes Ole Gunnar Solskjaer deserves more respect. He gets a lot of disrespect, but I don't think he's the best manager in the world. Let's be honest. And what can Ten Hag win at Manchester United? And so, anything that Ole hasn't won, so everything. And Ten Hag has been at Ajax for 4 years, and it's not like they were going to win the CL. Surely he would leave now. He either doesn't want the job or the Glazers aren't trying for him. I think it will be the second, and the Glazers aren't trying for him, as Andrew says. And Ten Hag is the best. You're insane. I mean, I would take Ten Hag at Manchester United, but apparently, you know, he's turned down Newcastle. Apparently, he said to United he doesn't want to come to the end of the season. Will United go for a manager like Ten Hag? Possibly. But I think United want a Brendan Rodgers. They want a Pochettino. And I think we'd only go for Ten Hag if we couldn't get Brendan or Poch. Because as I said before, Manchester United want to bring in a manager that they know succeeded in the Premier League off spending very little money. You know, Pochettino got top 4 off spending not that much money. Brendan Rodgers almost got top 4 off not spending that much money. And I think that's what the Glazers are attracted to. They want another Fergie. You know, they want another Fergie. They want another Wenger. A manager that they don't really need to back, but they know they'll always get them top 4 and that Champions League spot and that Champions League money. And that, unfortunately, is what our owners want at the club. Alice said today Ole is staying until summer. Also been said today, no one wants the job until then. I think that's a load of rubbish. Not what you're saying. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think if we're not going to get top 4 and we're in a dire position by December, I think he will be sacked. Now, there's talks that we're going to give Ole to the end of the season. There are people available. We turned down Rangnick. We turned down Conte. 2 decent managers available. It is Manchester United. Any manager coming right now is going to inherit a squad with Ronaldo, Varane, Rashford, Pogba, Bruno. Do you think many managers in world football will turn that down? No. Do you think this is excuses from the Glazers? Yes. Not many managers will turn down this Manchester United squad. I think the only reasons managers would turn down the United squad is because they didn't want to work with the Glazers. I think that's the only logical reason someone would turn down this Man United job right now is because they don't want to work with the Glazers, which would make 100% sense because the Glazers are a disgrace. The results have been sackable since Leicester, yet the board do nothing. Exactly. And it's not just the results since Leicester, it's the performances as well. You're telling me both Atalanta games, did we play well? No, we played atrocious in both Atalanta games. We played atrocious versus Manchester City. We played absolutely atrocious versus Liverpool. The only good game is been Spurs. And Spurs are the only team that was shitter than us. Spurs are the only good game we've had since Leicester. So we've had, 4 bad games and 1 good game since getting disgraced by Leicester. Yet this manager is still in the job because our board, our owners at Manchester United are absolutely incompetent and they do not know how to run a football club because they do not have any football knowledge. Mohammed says, I am not a Man United fan, but Liverpool, but I do respect Man U. I'd like Man U to challenge Man City and Liverpool, my team Liverpool. Look, I'd love a Man U Liverpool title race like in the olden days, but unfortunately, Man United should be in a title race this season, but we're allowing mediocrity. We're not sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The board won't sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because they don't want to pay Ole £7 million and they don't want to pay money to get a new manager in and they don't want to embarrass themselves. But actually, it's funny, you know, apparently one of the reasons we don't want to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is because the board don't want to embarrass themselves by sacking another manager. But I think what the board don't realise is every rival fan is laughing at us. Every rival fan is out there singing, Ole's at the wheel, tell me how good. You know, every rival fan is laughing at us singing, Ole's at the wheel because we haven't sacked him. And our owners, our board, think, you know, don't want to sack him to save face, to save ego. They don't want to see another failed manager. But in fact, actually, Woodward, Arnold, board, if you sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you're only going to get plaudits because everyone can see that it's the right thing to do. Because unfortunately, as much as I like Ole, he's incredibly out of his depth at Manchester United. He's incredibly out of his depth, and he does not look like changing it around in the nicest way possible. He does not look like changing it around. Ole lost 5-0 against Liverpool, worst manager in history. Well, that's the worst result from a Manchester United manager in history because of who it is. It's Liverpool, it's our rivals. And Glazers are the long-term goal to remove, but they aren't going anywhere anytime soon. But at least bring in a top gaffer to manage this very good squad. 100% agree with Andrew. Look, at the end of the day, the Glazers need to go before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The Glazers are the biggest problem at Manchester United. The Glazers are absolute disgrace to this club. I mean, the Glazers are the people that are still employing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer despite recent results, recent performances. I think right now you have to think on what can we do now? What can we do now? We can sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and we can beat an elite manager in. Because as I said right at the beginning of this video, it's very, very obvious that these players want Ole sacked. The fact that when Ole was not sacked after Liverpool, all these dressing room leaks came out. All the dressing room leaks came out when Ole wasn't sacked after Liverpool. It's gone quite quiet again. And all of a sudden, today and yesterday, more dressing room leaks come out. Why have all of a sudden more dressing room leaks come out today? Because Ole's returned to training, he hasn't been sacked. You're telling me the players don't want Ole sacked. I think it's an absolute coincidence that stuff is getting leaked to the press the day Ole returns to training. Because it's like, oh shit, Ole's returned to training. We don't want him here. And the players are leaking information, or the people at Manchester United are leaking information. I think it's very, very interesting. I think the players very much want Ole out because I think a lot of the information that's coming out pretty much shows that the players don't back Ole. Ole is that special kid in school who was praised for standing up straight. A smiling clown, says Parker. I mean, a bit mean, but fair enough. And MUFC is back this weekend. Oh my god! You know what? I'm just going to throw this out now, guys. If McTominay and Fred start versus Watford, sack him before kickoff. Absolutely sack him before kickoff. Watford have a worse defensive record than us. Watford are 17th. Watford is shit. Watford have a worse defensive record than us. MUFC were involved in the 2-0 disgrace versus Manchester City. MUFC were involved in the 5-0 disgrace versus Liverpool. If you're involved in a disgrace versus Liverpool, a disgrace versus Manchester City, you do not deserve to start our next game against Watford. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer plays against Watford, playing defensive negative football and being scared and not attacking Watford, he should be sacked because Watford actually have a worse defence than us. Watford have conceded 17 goals this season. We won't see it, but I want to see Matic and Donny versus Watford. Pogba's out. MUFC have been a disgrace all season. Give Matic and Donny a chance, Ole, because your defensive negative football is going to get you sacked. The only thing you haven't tried since your job's been on the line is Matic and Donny in attacking football. That's the only thing Ole hasn't tried. That's the only thing you have left. So go to a 4-3-3, play Matic and Donny, and go attack Watford. Ole, I say this now. Go attack Watford. Because I tell you this now. If we go and attack Watford and we play Matic and Donny, we're more likely to get a result than if we play MUFC and we defence. I swear to God, if we go to Watford and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sets up with MUFC playing play not to lose football against 17th place Watford that have a worse defensive record than us, sack him before the game starts. Sack him before the game starts. If I'm Ed Woodward, if I'm in the board, okay, who have been very, very generous to give Ole a chance. When I say generous, it's just because they're thick. They don't know football. That's why he's still manager. But if I'm on the board right now, and I'm not one of the people that wanted Ole to stay, let's say I'm Woodward, and let's say we decide we're going to give Ole another chance, I would be going up to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. If I was Woodward, if I was Richard Arnold, if I was Joel Glazer, I'd be going up to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and going, we're going to give you this Watford game. But if you play the same players that are underperforming and you're not giving new players a chance and you're not playing a new signing Jadon Sancho and you're not playing a new signing Donny van der Beek, then we will sack you despite the result. I would go up to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if I was on the board, if I was the owners, and I say, I see what you're trying to do. It's not working. You're playing the same play. If I'm Joel Glazer, I'm saying, I want Jadon Sancho to play. I want Donny van der Beek to play. And I go up to Ole and I'd say, look, you've got your job saved for another few games. But the only way you're saving this job is if you try attacking football, you try Donny, you try Matic, you try Sancho. If you go back to MUFC and we lose, you're sacked. That's what I say to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But unfortunately, I think we are going to go back to MUFC versus Watford. MUFC versus Manchester City, I can just about stomach because I'm like, okay, you know what? They're Ole's defensive duo, even though we've got the worst home record in the Premier League. And even though we're ranked 19th and 20th for every defensive stat, I can just about stomach MUFC in a big game because that's just what we know Ole's going to do. But if you go into a game like Watford, Watford playing Watford, playing play not to lose football, sack him before kickoff, because I don't even think I could stomach that. I think that would be an absolute disgrace. And I think it would be an embarrassment to this club. This Manchester United side, one of the best Manchester United side in 10 years, will go to Watford and set up for a 0-0 draw. And our owners won't do anything about it, because our owners, our board, Ed Woodward, everyone to do with the Manchester United hierarchy, probably won't watch that game, probably won't look at who's in the starting 11. They'll just check their phone after the 90 minutes to go, has he lost or not? Has he won? Oh, he's won. We're close to the Champions League. Oh, he's lost. I think we might have a meeting about sacking him. That's all that's going to happen at Manchester United. But I swear to God, if this manager comes out and disgraces us and actually goes to the Watford game with Milfred setting up for a 0-0 draw with Maguire, Shaw, the same underperforming players, you might as well sack him before the game begins, because that would be an absolute disgrace. And if you agree with me, smash a like on the video. By the way, guys, if your Glazers out, please do hit that like button. It costs nothing to hit that like button. So everybody watching that wants the Glazers out of this club, that thinks the Glazers are virus, please do subscribe down below. And if you're, please do hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, please do subscribe down below, because I will be doing a watch along, a match reaction, and more for the Manchester United versus Watford game. So there will be a lot of content for Manchester United versus Watford coming out this week. So do make sure you're subscribed. Alice, are you watching the England game tonight? I might watch it. I'm not really that interested. And subscribe, because we're on the road to 25k. We want to hit 25k by the end of 2021, which is quite ambitious. But please do subscribe if you're not subscribed. You only need 1.5k of you guys to subscribe. So hopefully we can hit 25k by the end of the year. Glazers out, OLE out. Exactly. Glazers out, OLE out. 100%. You know, these owners, they need to go. They're absolute disgrace. All I can say is they're an absolute disgrace. I can't even fathom it. I can't. Is that the word? What I do want to talk about quickly is some news reports that's come out, and then I am going to give you my thoughts on it. So Fabrizio Romano went onto the United stand today, and he said that, and this is what Fabrizio Romano, the dawn of transfers, Fabrizio Romano had this to say about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Brendan Rodgers. Fabrizio Romano said that Manchester United appreciate Brendan Rodgers and like his style, but there are no direct contacts between him and the club. Rodgers is aware that United are interested in him. So Fabrizio Romano has said that Man United are interested in Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers is aware that United are interested in him, but Manchester United have actually not made any contact with Brendan Rodgers. Fabrizio Romano followed that up by saying that Manchester United want to continue with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for as long as possible, providing the situation does not worsen. Solskjaer will be given a chance to change the current situation at the club. Now, that's what Romano said, and I think that's an absolute disgrace, because apparently, you know, after the Liverpool 5-0 defeat, we got told that Ole has 3 games to save his job. They said, we got told Ole's got one last chance to save his job. He's got 3 games to save his job after that Liverpool 5-0 defeat. And what did he go and do? Out of 2 of those 3 games, Atalanta and Manchester City were the most abysmal performances I've ever seen. It was painful to watch. You're thinking, this manager has 3 games to save his job. 2 of those games, he plays some of the worst football I've ever seen in my lifetime. Maybe the worst football I've ever seen in my lifetime as a Manchester United fan. And then we get told again he's got another chance to save his job. He should have been sacked after Liverpool. He should have really been sacked after Leicester, but he most definitely should have been sacked after Manchester City, because he got those 3 games as a chance. And for me, he didn't take those chances. You might go win, loss, draw. Not that bad. You look at the performances. You look at the start of the play. 2 of those games were atrocious, and the game against Spurs was an absolute anomaly, because Spurs are the only team that were actually worse than us going into that game. So again, I think it's an absolute disgrace that he's not been sacked. And Romano said that, you know, United are trying to give Ole a chance and hope the situation doesn't worsen. And that makes me think, you know, isn't it bad enough as it is? Isn't this bad enough as it is? As a Manchester United fan, isn't the football we're watching bad enough? So why are we going to give Ole another chance? I'm sorry to say this, but I've had enough. You know, the football we're watching is absolutely atrocious. So I can't watch any more of this. It's so bad. But you know what? Cool. We're going to give Ole another chance, guys. That's the situation. Why not? Why not give Ole another chance? And I sit here as a United fan, and I generally think, how bad has it got to get for him to be sacked? Because, I mean, okay, the results, win, loss, draw in 3 games, not abysmal. It's all right form, blah, blah, blah. The performances. How bad do the performances have to get? Because I think we've generally watched the worst football we've watched maybe in our lifetimes in terms of actual performances. You know, the results aren't great, but look at the performances. Look at how we're being tactically outclassed by every manager. And I think if we're putting in performances like that and our manager's safe, how low does he have to go? How bad does he have to get? How do we need to be relegated for him to get sacked at this rate? It's honestly how I feel about the situation. I can't fathom it. The football we're watching is honestly, guys, it's some of the worst football I think I've ever seen. Please smash a like on the video if you have not already, and subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new to the channel. Let's see if we can get 300 likes by the end of the video. So if you've not smashed that like button, please do. And if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe, because I will be doing a watch along to Manchester United versus Watford on Saturday. Friday night's a match preview to Manchester United versus Watford, and then there will be a match reaction to Manchester United versus Watford following the game. More news coming out that Donny van de Beek is definitely leaving in January if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer stays the Manchester United manager. Amad Diallo will seek a loan. Phil Jones would like to leave, and Jesse Lingard will not stay at Manchester United unless his situation changes. Roy Keane has been accused of bullying Harry Maguire for his comments. I do want to talk about this quickly. I think there's a bondholder that's come out and labelled Roy Keane a bully because he took the piss out of Maguire. I'm sorry. When pundits are going in on Paul Pogba, when pundits are going in on Martial, it's all right. You know, it's all okay if the pundits going on Paul Pogba and Martial. But when the pundits go on Harry Maguire, they get labelled a bully. They get labelled a bully. No. I'm sorry, if anything, the pundits that go on Paul Pogba and Martial all the time are the bullies because they're scapegoating Paul Pogba and Martial. You know, Paul Pogba can have a good performance and someone like Souness will say he's rubbish because they're scapegoating him. Roy Keane criticising Harry Maguire does not make Roy Keane a bully. Roy Keane criticises everyone. He's not single-handedly picked out Maguire. Roy Keane criticises everyone. And Roy Keane, like every fan, has the right to criticise Harry Maguire because he's been absolutely shite for the last 2 months for Manchester United. He's brilliant in the Euros. He was brilliant for England, but he's been absolutely shite for Manchester United in the last 2 months. He's meant to be our captain. If you're putting in those performances as Manchester United captain, you deserve to be criticised. And the fact that people called Roy Keane a bully for that is an absolute disgrace into what a snowflake society we are turning in. Roy Keane is criticising a player that's been underperforming. There's picking on the same player, there's having an agenda, there's having a Graham Souness, Martial, Paul Pogba agenda, picking on them. But when you're putting in the performances that Maguire's been putting in, you deserve to be criticised. I think Maguire's good for England. I think he's always good for England, but he's been a disgrace to Manchester United. He shouldn't be captain, and he shouldn't be putting his fingers in his ear after scoring against Albania. That is Albania. If you put your fingers in your ear against scoring against Albania, you might as well go to League One, because that's the level of Albania. So the idiots out there calling Roy Keane a bully, it's a disgrace, because you know what it is? It's only because Maguire's British, and this is what I hate about the football media world, is the bias to British footballers, English footballers. Look at the difference of abuse between Fred and McTominay. Fred is always the scapegoat. You know, there's a poll and it'll be who's worse, Fred or McTominay, and 80% of people will say Fred. I'm sorry, McTominay is no better than Fred, but because McTominay is an academy product, because McTominay is British, he doesn't get the slander that Fred gets. He does not. Because Martial's French, because Pogba's French, they get the slander. You see, Rashford has put in just as bad performances as Martial, but Martial's the only one that gets criticised. Paul Pogba's always getting criticised. But as soon as someone criticises English love Harry Maguire, they're a bully. Because, you know, Harry Kane, Harry Maguire, these English players cannot be criticised because they're English. And it absolutely does my head in, because Harry Maguire, Harry Kane have both been crap this season and both deserve to be criticised. Yeah, if you criticise them, you're a bully. However, Souness can criticise Pogba, Martial, all he wants, but because they're not British, no one cares. And that absolutely annoyed me, how people were calling Roy Keane a bully. Look, Roy Keane, it's his ego, it's his personality. He goes on everyone. I see bullying and having an agenda as targeting one player. Roy Keane just says it how he is. If he thinks someone's been shit, he will say they've been shit. He's not picking out players. He's not got an agenda. He says it's how it is. Roy Keane says, oh, those two in the midfield, Fred, crap. He says, Maguire, crap. Fred says, you know, Roy Keane says it how it is, and people will criticise him for that because, you know, it's a bit of a snowflake society. But I did think I would touch on that. But smash the like button, if you agree with me, and do subscribe to Alice Talks Football. If you're not subscribed to the channel, we're going to see if we can get 300 likes on the channel. Josh says, can't wait to see McFred. These players need to take responsibility and get him. Honestly, if we see McFred versus Watford, I'm going to lose my shit. But I'm not actually going to lose my shit because I actually expect to see McFred start versus Watford. So I'm just going to sit there disappointed. I'm going to get my hopes up that Ole's going to try something new and play Matic and Donny. But then when I see McFred, I'm not going to be surprised. You know, there's a report that came out, actually. There's a report that came out, guys, that said apparently Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has noted that the 5 at the back system doesn't work. Apparently Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been told that his defensive football isn't working. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, in the last try to save his job, is going to go to a 4-3-3 to play attacking football. So he's tried the 4-2-3-1. He's tried the defend for my life tactic. And apparently Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is now going to play attacking football in a last-ditch effort to save his job. Now, I'd believe that if I was stupid. Do I think Ole's going to do that? No, because if Ole was going to try something new, he wouldn't have effed off to Norway for a week on holiday. he'd have been on that training ground with Donny and Matic, because if you're going to play attacking football and Pogba's injured, you got Donny and Matic who aren't on international duty. You'd be working with Donny and Matic in a 4-3-3 system. The fact that Donny and Matic have been free all week and Ollie hasn't trained with them once shows to me it's going to be McFred versus Watford. It's going to be the same players versus Watford on that training ground. That's what it says to me, guys. And that's what I expect to see. As much as I hate to say that, that's what I expect to see. McFred defensive football. I do not believe the story that Ollie's going to try something different. He's going to play new players and he's going to play attacking football. Because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer took a week's holiday when he could have been working with Matic, Donny, Bailly, a lot of the players he doesn't regularly play, to try something different, and he didn't. So that's why I don't believe that story. Do I want that story to be true? Yes. Do I want to see an attacking lineup versus Watford? Yes. But will I be shocked if I see McFred? No. Because unfortunately, I said this in yesterday's live stream, what I don't like about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and for me, why he'll never be an elite manager, is because he's not playing to our strengths, he's playing to our weaknesses. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is playing to our weaknesses. Our strengths are our attackers. We have the best attack in the world if you look at the players name for name. United have the best attack in the world if you look at the players name for name. Look at the wings options we have. We've got Sancho, Greenwood, Martial, Rashford, Amad Diallo, Paul Pogba can play on the wing, Bruno Fernandes, Cavani, Ronaldo. Manchester United have so many top players. Jesse Lingard and Donny can even fill in those attacking positions if worse came to worse. United have so many great attacking quality players, yet we're playing a formation with 5 at the back that only uses 2 out of the 7 good attacking players I've named. We're playing a system that only loses 2 out of the 7 great attacking players I've named. Any elite manager plays to their strengths. Any world-class manager will come in and go, the wingers is their strength, their attack is their strength, let's play attacking football, play 4-3-3. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for me, and this is why he'll never be elite manager, is playing to our weakness. Maguire is the weak point in this team right now, whether you like Maguire or not, and I do think Maguire's a good player, but he's in awful form, and I think when Maguire's in form, he's good enough to play for Manchester United, but right now, of the last 2 months, Maguire's not been good enough to play for Manchester United, and he's been the weak spot in that team, along with Luke Shaw. Sky Sports showed a statistic on their screen, and Manchester United's errors leading to goal, and the majority of the goals we conceded came down the left-hand side of our defence. Who plays on the left-hand side of the defence? Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire. Varane and Wan-Bissaka are at fault for barely any goals compared to Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire this season. And that was an actual statistic, by the way, guys. That was an actual statistic. And what absolutely shocks me is instead of dropping Luke Shaw, instead of dropping Maguire, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer thinks I'll solve this problem by playing 5 at the back and getting McFred to sleep as deep as possible to give Maguire and Shaw an easier job. Instead of addressing the fact that Maguire and Luke Shaw have not been good enough this season, he's going to actually play to our weaknesses, and actually he's instead of telling McFred to go forward, his sole instruction to McTominay and Fred is sit back deep, protect the defence. That's his sole instruction to McTominay and Fred, is just to sit back deep and protect the defence. And he is a manager that's playing to our weakness. He's alerted the weak point in Harry Maguire, and he's gonna set up as defensively as he can. He's gonna get his fullbacks to tuck in. He's gonna play as many players as deep as he can. He's gonna be as deep as he can. So, and all of that to make Maguire's job easier. If you're an elite manager, you need to be playing to strengths, not weaknesses. And I'll say that time and time again because that's how I believe it is. And I don't know how you guys feel on it. Brain Sample says Ollie out, Zidane in. Look, okay, even though Fabrizio Romano said that he's aware that nothing's going on with Manchester United and Zidane's not overly keen on the job, there are still multiple reports about Zinedine Zidane to Manchester United. There are still multiple reports about Manchester United to get Zinedine Zidane, by the way, guys. However, it's not come from Romano. It's not come from the most reliable journalist. And from what I'm guessing and from what I know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, unfortunately, will be manager for the Watford game. And I think he will be manager for the Chelsea game. And I think he'll be manager for the Villarreal game. I think he could be sat maybe by Arsenal, maybe by Palace. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be manager for the next 2 or 3 games. And the really frustrating situation is we've got a very tight schedule. We've got a very tight fixture list. We've got a very tight schedule. The fixtures are coming in thick and fast. Fixtures absolutely coming in thick and fast. And right now, with the international break, having 2 weeks off, this is the best time to sack a manager. It's the absolute best time to sack a manager right now. 100%. Yeah, we're going to give him a few more games. And when he fails versus Watford, when he fails versus Villarreal, when he fails versus Chelsea, he's only going to have 3. You're only going to have 3 days between each game to get a new manager in. United have got a really dense fixture list, and I'm going to show you on my screen. And it's like, why don't we sack him now? Because I think with the way it's going, it's inevitable that he's going to be sacked by Christmas. But sacking him before Christmas is going to be very hard, because if you look at this fixture list here, okay, so we've got Watford on the Saturday, 2 days rest, then Villarreal, then a 4-day rest, then Chelsea, then a 3-day rest, then Arsenal, then a 2-day rest, then Palace, then a 2-day rest, then Young Boys. Literally, we've got 2 to 4 days between all of these games. I think, it's here. It's the Brighton game. The Brighton game, we don't have a week off until at least the Brighton game. That's the next time we have a significant period off, which is 9 days. up until, we've got another month. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got to get through the next month. And in the next month, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 9 fixtures in the next month with no more than 3 days between each fixture in the next month. And you're saying that you're going to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer these 9 fixtures to turn it around. These 9 fixtures in the next month, they're coming thick and fast, could actually dictate our season. They could absolutely dictate our season and see how it's going to go. But we're just going to write it out because you know what? We're in a situation when we had 2 weeks to get a new manager. And if we're going to sack Ole after the Arsenal game, we've only got 2 days before the Palace game to get someone in. And that's why I think it's an absolute disgrace that he wasn't sacked international break. Because I'm saying you've only got 2 days to get a new manager in. So why not sack him in the break? Because I feel like we're destined to get sacked after Chelsea. I think Watford's going to be a shit show. I think Villarreal, Ronaldo will scrape it for us. I think Chelsea's another shit show. And you go into Arsenal being absolutely awful. You get embarrassed by Arsenal, you might as well delete your Twitter account. And then we go to the Palace game. And the Palace is going to be a hard game. And it's just like, between all these games, you've only got 3 days to sack a manager and bring someone else in when you could have just done it in the international break and had 2 weeks in to get who you wanted in. But unfortunately, Manchester United see Rangnick, they go, no, we're going to turn down Rangnick. Manchester United then get Conte. United say to Conte, no, we don't want Antonio Conte. I sometimes sit here and I go, what is wrong with Manchester United? How can you sit there on the board? How can anyone on the board sit there, watch the performances, watch the way we're playing under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and happily turn down Conte and happily turn down Ralf Rangnick because you don't think they're suitable for Manchester United, yet you think Ole is. They say that Rangnick and Conte aren't the Manchester United way. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not playing the Manchester United way. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer talks about Man United DNA, but where is this Man United DNA in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Because all I see from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is negative, coward football, and he's not bringing any of the youngsters through other than Mason Greenwood. And I think a lot of our youngsters, like Mason Greenwood, are starting to stagnate under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So what is Ole's style of play? Is he playing the United way? No. So all this crap about wanting a manager in that's going to play the United way, for me, again, it's just a load of crap because I look at all the managers and I go, are any of these managers playing the Man United way? No. Is Ole playing the Man United way? No. So why are we saying we want a manager that's going to play the Man United way come in when we're sticking with a manager that's just playing B-Tech Jose Mourinho? Absolutely shocks me. Absolutely shocks me to my core. Guys, please smash that like button if you have not already. And if you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, please do subscribe down below to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news throughout the next month. Do subscribe down below. We've got the transfer window coming up in the next month. And we've also got games coming up this week as the international break is almost over. So for Manchester United watch-alongs to every game, I will be doing a live watch-along versus Watford. For match reactions, for news, for transfer news, and all the updates on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future, Brendan Rodgers' future, Zidane, Cristiano Ronaldo, what's going on at Manchester United. Make sure you're subscribed because Ole's job might be safe for now, but I don't think Ole will be Manchester United manager come Christmas. I generally still think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be sacked before Christmas. He might keep his job for Watford. He might keep his job for Chelsea. He might keep his job for Arsenal, but I don't think he'll be keeping his job much longer. So if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news and more, do subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. Smash a like on the video. It costs nothing to hit that like button. So let's go for 300 likes. SM says that pundits are paid for an opinion. Footballers are paid to play football. Maguire should start earning his money. Exactly. Going back to my point about, Roy Keane bullying Maguire. That was an absolute load of rubbish, wasn't it? Roy Keane was just giving his opinion. He was criticising Maguire because Maguire should be criticised. Vicious says, I know that Antonio Conte is not the Manchester United way because he's a defensive manager, but Ralf Rangnick is a manager at Manchester United way is attacking. Exactly. Ralf Rangnick is an attacking manager. But apparently we don't want Rangnick because he doesn't play the United way. It's difficult to work with. Ralf Rangnick is a better manager than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He plays better football than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The only difference between Ralf Rangnick and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is Ralf Rangnick will come in and say the coaches aren't good enough. He'll demand top coaches. He'll demand elite coaches. He'll demand the top players. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will say, yes, employ me cheap. Employ my friends cheap. Blah, blah, blah. Why would Manchester United keep Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when they could have Ralf Rangnick? Guys, say this now. Why would Manchester United stick with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if they could have Ralf Rangnick? Because there's one difference between Ole and Ralf Rangnick is obviously Ralf Rangnick's ability. Sorry, but the second difference is Ralf Rangnick demands the best. He wants to win. Ole's very, very content with being a yes man, staying in this job because he knows he's never going to get a better job. That's a key difference between Rangnick and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And you think if you've got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and you could get Rangnick, any club in the world would trade Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for Ralf Rangnick. Ralf Rangnick basically was asking for this job. And the reason we didn't get Ralf Rangnick is because we thought he'd be difficult to work with. Because we want a manager that's easy to work with. We want a manager that's not going to demand loads of money, that's not going to call out the board. Any elite manager comes into Manchester United and they expose the board, they expose the coaching system, they expose the Glazers. Ole won't do that. And that's why United haven't sacked Ole, because I guarantee you this now. If Pochettino was available, if Brendan Rodgers was available, Ole would have been sacked. But we won't sack Ole unless, A, we absolutely have to, because it looks like we're not going to get top 4. And I don't think we're going to get top 4 at this rate. And I think the longer we go, the less and less likely we're going to get top 4. Or 2, there's another yes man available. And I'm not saying Poch and Brendan Rodgers are yes man, but they're managers that come in, have been at clubs where they haven't been backed a lot and done well. And that's what the Glazers want. The Glazers want another Wenger. The Glazers want another Fergie. They want a manager that doesn't require lots and lots of money each summer, but does well. Basically, the Glazers' dream of Arsene Wenger. What Arsene Wenger was in his final years at Arsenal was give him fuck all money and he succeeds, gets you top 4, top 12, top 4. That's what the Glazers want. They want another Arsene Wenger. They want, they want another manager like that. And that's why Brendan Rodgers and Pochettino are our first 2 choices, because Poch at Spurs got F4 money, but he was always getting top 4 until his final season. Brendan Rodgers almost got top 4 at Leicester. United just want a manager that's going to be that Arsene Wenger. And that is why we haven't sacked Ole, because we won't sack Ole unless A, it's absolutely horrific and we look like a team that's got no chance of getting top 4, or B, one of those managers is available. Because I solely believe if we could have got Brendan Rodgers in, or we could have got Pochettino, and we would have sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But to get Brendan Rodgers in, we have to pay a bit of money. And the third thing about the Glazers is we know that the Glazers don't want to spend money. We know that the Glazers won't spend money unless they have to spend money as well. Man United may have beaten Tottenham Hotspur, but they won in a long-term way when we were in a hole going, it's okay, we got Ole. This is exactly the thing, and I was talking to a Spurs fan about this. I said, we beat Spurs 3-0, but the next day, who felt better, Manchester United fans or Spurs fans? Spurs fan. If your team loses 3-0, you should be in a shit mood. Spurs fans feel absolutely 10 times better than Manchester United fans right now, despite us beating them 3-0. Spurs fans felt better for it, because what Spurs got is Spurs got a new elite manager in. And even though Spurs aren't a great team, they can already see a change in their performance. They're actually going forward. They're actually attacking. Manchester United beat Spurs. Oh, bish, bash, bosh. Brilliant. 3-0 win versus Spurs. That's a good result. But why aren't we happy about it? Because we know that was a one-off result. We know that's an anomaly. And a world-class manager that was sitting there begging for the Manchester United job has now gone to Tottenham Hotspur. And our manager, and the only thing I had against Conte was he played 5 at the back. The only thing I said I didn't like about Antonio Conte is he played 5 at the back. Now our manager has gone and started playing 5 at the back. So there's nothing now that if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer continues this 5 at the back, there's no reason we should have kept him over Conte, because Ole should have been sacked after the 5-0 Liverpool defeat, and then he's playing 5 at the back. The only reason I thought we had for not employing Conte was we didn't want a manager that played 5 at the back when our strength was wingers. We now have a manager that plays 5 at the back when our strength is wingers, which is an absolute disgrace, guys. It is an absolute disgrace. But it's Manchester United. The board, the owners, as I said before, they do not care. Now, Conte's gone to Spurs. Spurs are happier than us, despite losing 3-0 to us the other week. It's comical, but it is what it is. How can anybody stand Ole Gunnar Solskjaer speaking pre and post matches without breaking the TV? Look, I don't really listen to it, and look, he's got to do his job. I'm not against Ole. I don't have any hate towards Ole or dislike towards Ole. I just think he's not good enough for the job, and I just think that he needs to be sacked. And we need Zidane or Ten Hag. Absolutely agree with you there. We do. And true, because Tottenham Hotspur finally gave Conte what he wanted earlier when they could have got him after Jose. Yeah, I honestly just United's absolute disgrace. Smash a like on the video, by the way, if you do want the Glazers out. If you are Glazers out, hit that like button. And by the way, guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do go ahead and subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. I'll be keeping you up to date on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future, but it looks like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will stay and will be in charge for the game versus Watford, but I don't think he'll be here at Christmas time. I think Zidane, Brendan Rodgers, Pochettino, those rumours are likely to heat up. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you do get updated on Zidane, Brendan Rodgers, Pochettino and all of that, because as I said earlier, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to be here much longer. And all of that. I've got a couple of things I want to quickly talk about. First of all, I want to say Roy Keane is not a bully. Just because Maguire's British, people are angry Roy Keane criticised him. If you're a pundit, you can criticise someone. There's a difference between bullying and criticism. Let's get that clear. I feel really sorry for Ronaldo. Portugal might not qualify for the World Cup after losing in the last minute to Serbia. Now, people were laughing at this and all of that. But you know what? That Portugal manager is just as bad as Ole. I feel sorry for Ronaldo. He has to play under Ole and he has to play under that Portugal manager. And do you know what makes me laugh? Is Bruno Fernandes didn't start that game versus Serbia. Bruno Fernandes didn't start in that game versus Serbia. And everyone in the Euros was saying Bruno's the problem at Portugal. Portugal need to drop Bruno and they'll be a good side. You got so many idiots out there will say that Bruno was the biggest problem for Portugal. Bruno don't even play in Portugal, crap. Just proves that, the manager's the biggest problem. And the one thing I hate in the football media world is a lot of the time people will pinpoint players as a problem. You know, Martial was the problem. Martial's not even playing and we're still playing bad, so it's pretty obvious Martial wasn't a problem. Paul Popper's the problem. Paul Popper's not even playing and we're still playing bad, so it's pretty obvious Paul Popper is not the problem. Ronaldo was the problem. It's so obvious Ronaldo wasn't the problem at Manchester United. That was just lazy journalists. There's one problem at Manchester United, and that's the owners. The second problem is the manager's not good enough. And I absolutely hate this in football across all worlds where they say a player's the problem, but you can remove that player and the team's still crap because actually it's not the player, it's the manager. And I hate how lazy journalists just jump to the player, they conclude to the player. Why don't you criticise the manager? And this is what I don't like about Gary Neville, because as a pundit, he should be giving his honest opinion. He is paid to give his opinion and be honest. Gary Neville is not being honest in the slightest bit, because Gary Neville is no better than those journalists, because he's saying this player's playing bad, this player's playing bad, this player's playing bad. Well, if every player is playing bad and every player's underperforming, then it's because of the system they're playing in. And because of the system they're playing in, the blame is on the manager. But Gary Neville won't blame the manager, even though everything he's saying hints that it's the manager's fault. He still won't specifically blame the manager. And that's what I absolutely hate, is when players take the blame. And, you know, it can be a player's fault to an extent, but a lot of the time, it's the manager, it's the coaching, it's the system, and players are the scapegoat for that. You know, the fact that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's staying and there's an outrage at Manchester United, and all of a sudden United are leaking stories that Pogba ain't staying, Pogba's demanding crazy wages. It's such a PR spin, because Manchester United owners, the people in Manchester United PR, would rather the fans turn on Paul Pogba than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. Talking of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, talking of Paul Pogba's definitely leaving Manchester United in the summer for free. I think if we get a new manager in, there's a chance that he will stay, but I think it's pretty much obvious he's leaving Manchester United in the summer for free. Matic is going to retire in the summer. Cavani's going to retire in the summer. Ronaldo will leave if we do not finish in the top four. Martial's leaving. Donny's leaving. Bailly wants to leave. Jones wants to leave. Tellez wants out. Lingard's gone. A lot of players want out of Manchester United right now. A lot of players want out of Manchester United because, unfortunately, the team is underperforming massively. The team is playing some of the worst football they've played in years. This is the worst football I think I've ever watched Manchester United play in terms of actually watching the game, watching the performances. The performances at Manchester United are absolutely atrocious. And if you're a first-team player at Manchester United and you're seeing how bad this team is playing, you're seeing how atrocious these performances, yet you're still seeing that Manchester United week in, week out are picking the same players. If you're not one of those players being picked week in, week out, and you're not getting picked after these awesome performances, you have every right to want to leave Manchester United. And one of the reasons I'm Ole out is because if Ole stays, Matic, Pogba and Donny are gone, so we need at least 3 midfielders in. Ronaldo's going to go if we don't get top 4. Cavani's going to retire. Martial's going to go, so we need to get a striker in. But also other players are going to leave, like Jesse Lingard, a depth player, ERIK, a depth centre-back, who's arguably better than Maguire and Lindelof. And that's another thing that really infuriates me about keeping Ole, is because I'm like, keeping Ole and playing the same old players that are underperforming just means the good players that haven't underperformed, that haven't got a chance, are just going to leave. And rightly so, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might turn Jadon Sancho into a right wing back, which is an absolute disgrace. Imagine spending £72 million on one of the best young up-and-coming attackers in world football. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer spent £72 million on Jadon Sancho. What about Jadon Sancho made him worth £72 million? His attacking threat, his goals and his assists. Jadon Sancho got more goals and assists than any player last year other than Messi and Salah. Jadon Sancho got more goals and assists than anyone combined other than Messi and Salah in terms of wingers. Obviously, there's Lewandowski and Haaland, but I'm talking in terms of wingers. And we spent 72 million on him because he's the third best winger in the world in terms of numbers. And all of a sudden, we're not even going to play Sancho on the right wing. He hasn't started one game on the right wing. We're going to turn him into a right wing back. What kind of manager buys a player for their attacking output and says, oh, you know what? I'm going to turn him into a right wing back? Again, that's a sackable offence in itself. I look at that and I think, what an absolute disgrace. And he's losing the players, because I said earlier, these players clearly do not rate Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I said these players are clearly not playing for Ole, because the fact that the day Ole comes back to training, the day it's confirmed Ole's not getting sacked in the international break, all of these leaks comes out about players not being happy, about players don't get why Ole keeps playing as favourites. How come all of these leaks come back the day OLE comes back to training. It's so obvious that the players wanted OLE out. They see he comes back to training and all the leaks come out again. It's so obvious that the players are OLE out. Diego says we only need 68 likes for 300 likes, guys. If you've not hit that like button, please do go ahead and hit that like button. It costs nothing to hit that like button. So if your Glazers out, smash a like on the video. And if you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, please do go ahead and subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news and updates. I want Manchester United to lose against Watford. What about you? I don't want us to lose against Watford. I want us to win. Because if we lose against Watford, we're in a very, very bad position. I want us to go into the Watford game, play Donny and Matic, play attacking football and win. However, if someone came up and said to me, if we lose to Watford, OLE will be sacked, would you take it? If I knew with absolute certainty that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would 100% be sacked if we lost to Watford, I would take the loss to Watford. If someone said with 100% certainty, if he loses to Watford, he's out the job, I'd happily lose to Watford. But I think this manager can lose to Watford and not be sacked. And I'm not the type of person that's going to hope we lose 3 games in a row to get him sacked. If someone said to me, you'll 100% be sacked if you lose to Watford, I will take us losing over a draw and probably actually losing over a win. Okay, I would. But I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to win, and I want Manchester United to win versus Watford. But I want us to win, winning convincingly. I don't want us to win because we play McFred, counter-attacking football, and Ronaldo wins it in the last minute. I want us to beat Watford convincingly with Donny and Matic in the midfield, taking control of the midfield, patterns of play, playing good football. I want Manchester United to win convincingly. And when we beat Watford, I want to sit there and go, that is the performance of the season. We need more of that. That's what I want to say. I don't want to be saying, oh my God, we were lucky to win that game. Oh my God, Ole got away with one again. Oh my God, where will we be without Ronaldo? Where will we be without De Gea? I want us to win a game and not go, oh, thank God we have Ronaldo. Oh, thank God we have De Gea. I want us to happily win a game, and I want us to go, what a performance, controlled the game, could have won that 4-5-0. I know we won 2-0, but we could have won that 4-5-0. Absolutely happy. But I haven't been able to say that since the Leeds game at the beginning of the season. And actually, as a Manchester United fan, we haven't been able to say that much in the last 2 years. You know, we had the Southampton 9-0, we had the Leipzig 5-0. But if you actually look at last season, and this is why I understand why a lot of people were Ole out last season, because they could see that the football wasn't sustainable. They could see that we were playing crap, and Rashford wins it in the last minute versus Wolves. ERIK Bailly last minute block versus Aston Villa. So many last minute goals, so many going 1-0 downs and winning 2-1s, the Burnley, the Spurs, so many last minute results. And unfortunately, that's not sustainable in the world of football. We can keep grinding out these last minute results, but it's just not super sustainable. I think we've seen this season that we can't rely on us going 1-0 behind and grinding out a result and getting an individual moment of brilliance to save us, because, okay, we had individual brilliance at the start of the season. You know, Leeds was a convincing win. But we go into the second game, Southampton, we would have lost that game if it wasn't for a De Gea amazing save, and Greenwood got a goal out of nothing to actually get us a point in that game. You look at the Wolves game, Wolves could have won that game 3-0, but Greenwood again saved us, and De Gea again with that brilliant double save versus Wolves is the only reason we didn't lose to Wolves. So you look at Wolves, you look at Southampton, second and third game into the season, and you go, literally, we've been saved by De Gea and Greenwood. Then you go into West Ham. And now West Ham, again, De Gea last-minute save. Although I think we did deserve to beat West Ham because we should have had about 6 penalties, De Gea is the only reason we got 3 points versus West Ham. When have we got 3 points in the Premier League since West Ham? Tottenham. It's the only game we've won since West Ham in the Premier League, and that's because Tottenham are absolutely shy. I mean, Tottenham are getting battered 3-0 by Crystal Palace, 3-0 by Arsenal, 3-0 by every club they've played in London. So beating Spurs 3-0 is no different to beating Norwich 3-0 in my opinion, because that's how bad Spurs are. So actually, you know, we played an Everton side without DCL, without Richarlison, got completely outplayed. I think they were missing Doucouré as well, who's one of the most important players, still absolutely outplayed. Got outplayed by a Villa side. Villa haven't won a game since they beat us, and they've sacked our manager. Villa have won a game more recently at Old Trafford than Manchester United have, yet Villa's manager has been sacked and ours hasn't. Norwich City have picked up more Premier League points in the last 2 months than Manchester United, yet the Norwich City's manager has been sacked, but ours hasn't. And once again, that just shows the absolute incompetence of our board. How can Norwich City's manager pick up more points than us in 2 months and still get sacked before our manager? Do Norwich City have higher ambitions than Manchester United? Norwich City's ambitions are just to stay in the league. Are we becoming a club that will just go, oh, we'll keep Ole as long as we stay in the league? Because first, at the moment, it's let's get Champions League. And before we know it, it's going to be let's qualify for Europa League. Let's qualify for Europa League. And before we know it, we're just going to turn into a club that's going, let's just hope we stay in the Premier League. Let's just hope we stay in the Premier League under these owners. It's an absolute disgrace, these owners. I just want them gone, guys. Absolutely want them gone. If you want the owners gone as well, smash a like on the video if you have not already, and do subscribe down below if you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, I've got some interesting news to talk about. So please do stay tuned, because actually I'm going to talk about some of the dressing room leaks that's come out, because I actually realised I hadn't actually quoted the dressing room leaks that have come out. And I think they're very, very interesting. And by the way, we're 35 likes off 300 likes. So I need 35 more of you out of the 300 watching to smash that like button. So if you have not already, please do go ahead and smash that like button, will be very much appreciated. But let me go back to my cheeky full screen and read out some of the dressing room leaks, guys, because this is really, really intriguing. This is really, really intriguing. Now, this has come from Rob Dawson of ESPN, a tier 2 journalist, a pretty reliable, credible journalist. And the interesting thing about Rob Dawson, again, is he's a British journalist, and he will get a lot of information directly from the club. Now, Rob Dawson has come out and said, and this is really, really interesting, guys, and this is what makes me believe the players are OLE out, because, you know, the day OLE came back after the Liverpool match, all of the dressing room leaks came out. The dressing room leaks have been pretty quiet, and all of a sudden, the day OLE returns to Manchester, the day OLE comes back, the day it's confirmed OLE's going to be in charge for the Watford game, all of a sudden a load of dressing room leaks come out, and I go, coincidence? I think not. Now, what Rob Dawson has said is, he said there's particular frustration among some Manchester United fringe players that they have still not been able to break into the team despite the run of poor results. This has come from Rob Dawson of ESPN. So he's saying there's, you know, a lot of the fringe players of Manchester United are frustrated that they still haven't been given game time despite the poor results. Makes sense. Rob Dawson also said that Solskjaer accepted during meetings over the summer that he'd overplay key players and promised players including Van der Beek, Martial, Lingard, Henderson, Bailly, Lowe, Mata and Tellers that they'd be more involved going forward. And apparently, some players in some players' cases, Solskjaer's assurances were enough to put their plans to leave Manchester United on ice, only to be left on the sidelines once the season started. So basically, what's been exposed is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's a liar. This report has basically come out and said Ole's a liar. It said that lots of players are frustrated at Manchester United that they're not getting game time despite the poor performances. Apparently, Solskjaer had meetings with those players, including Donny, Van der Beek, Lingard, Martial, and said, look, stay, I'm going to play you, I'm going to play you. And these players still aren't playing despite the poor performances, and they feel like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's lied to them. Because you know what? And this is absolutely right. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has lied to the players. He's lied to Donny. He's lied to Martial. He's lied to Lingard. And you know what? If I'm Lingard, if I'm Martial, if I'm Donny van de Beek, if I'm ERIK Bailly, if I'm Alex Tellers, I think you have every right to be fuming. I think when Dean Henderson's case, he's just got to sit back and be like, fair play. Look how good De Gea has been. I think in Tellers' case, last season, he could be fair play, but this season, no. I think in Delo's case, maybe fair play. But Ole Gunnar, if I'm Jesse Lingard, if I'm Donny van de Beek, if I'm Martial, I'm absolutely fuming Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because we were going to leave Manchester United this summer to get game time. And my managers come to me and said, don't leave United, I'm going to give you game time. And United are playing awful and you're not getting game time. So not only has the manager lied to you, but it's the fact that your Manchester United are playing absolutely awful. The squad performance is absolutely awful, yet these players aren't getting game time, which I think is an absolute disgrace. Because you know what? If we are top of the league right now, if we had been unbeaten all season and we've been putting in some crazy, brilliant performances, I'd be saying, look, I feel sorry for Martial, Donny and Lingard, but they've got no place in this team. The fact that Donny, Lingard and Martial in the last few games for Manchester United have been a lot better than the players starting week in, week out is a disgrace. Martial scored a goal in his last start. Donny van de Beek was man of the match in his last start. And Jesse Lingard's come off the bench 3 times, got goal assist, goal assist, goal assist. You know, Jesse Lingard, Donny van de Beek and Martial have put in good performances in their last few cameos for Manchester United, yet can't get a minute in since. Cannot get 1 minute in since, despite the poor performances and despite the poor results. And it's not even about the results. The performances right now at Manchester United are not Manchester United level performances. They're absolutely atrocious. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's not only promised Donny, Martial, Lingard and other players that he was going to play them, but these players are playing well when they get the chance, yet they're not playing with players that have been a disgrace week in, week out. ERIK Bailly not getting a chance over Harry Maguire was a disgrace. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer played a Maguire that was 2 weeks off being fully fit versus Leicester when he had a fully fit ERIK Bailly that was happy to play. How can you convince ERIK Bailly to stay at Manchester United when you won't even play him over an injured Maguire who hadn't even been good this season anyway? Look, Maguire's been awful. If he's fully fit, okay, start him with a Bailly. But the fact that Bailly was fully fit and Maguire wasn't fully fit, yet he still started Harry Maguire, is an absolute disgrace. And he promised Bailly he was going to give him the game time. The fact that an injured McTominay comes on when we're 1-0 down over Donny van de Beek is an absolute disgrace. The fact that Jesse Lingard's got a goal and assist in his last 2 appearances as a sub and can't get a minute since, it's a disgrace. The fact that Martial was scored in his last start for Manchester United and can't get a minute since, it's a disgrace. When in our last 12 games, we've lost 6 of them. We've lost 6 of our last 12 games. That's mid-table relegation form. Yet it's the same players playing in the 6 of those 12 games. It's the same 10 players that started in the 5-0 loss versus Liverpool also started in our next biggest game, Manchester City. Liverpool and Manchester City at home are our 2 biggest games of the season in the Premier League. And if those players bottled the biggest game of the season, Liverpool at home in the Premier League, and lost 5-0 and absolutely disgraced themselves, at least 4 of those players should be dropped. The fact that the only player that was dropped who started against Liverpool was Marcus Rashford. And he was an attacker. He was nothing to do with conceding 5 goals because he was an attacker. He was, he's probably one of the best players on the pitch, even though everyone was a disgrace. The fact that you can lose 5-0 versus Liverpool, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will start you versus Manchester City a week later is an absolute disgrace. Ole should have been dropping 3 or 4 of those players. Fred, Maguire, Luke Shaw should have been dropped off the back of their performance. Because any elite manager, if you lose 5-0 to your arch rivals at home, will drop at least 3 players for the next most important game. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer generally believed if he played 10 of the same players that played versus Liverpool against Manchester City, he'd get a result. Proves to me he won't be an elite manager. Because if 10 of those players started versus Liverpool, disgraced themselves, played awfully and lost 5-0 to Liverpool, do you believe that those same 10 players are going to get you a result versus Manchester City? Because I think if you do believe that, you're on drugs. And that's how I feel about the situation. I go, you on drugs? I actually sit there and I go, is he on drugs? That is generally how I feel about the situation. Rewarding the same players, guys. They're awful versus Liverpool. What do you expect them to do versus Manchester City? You think just because you're playing 5 at the back now and Maguire has more protection that all of a sudden he's going to be better? No, it's not, because Manchester City are just as good a side as Liverpool, and these players have been consistently crap, yet they're still playing. When I looked at it, I just thought, what an absolute disgrace, guys. What an absolute disgrace. We're 15 subscribers away from 23.4k. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do go ahead and subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football. Every like, every share, every subscribe on the channel is very much appreciated. So do please subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Share this video and smash a like on the video. Absolutely costs nothing to hit that like button. We are going for 300 likes. I'm not sure how many likes we are on, but the aim is 300 likes. And we've got over 300 people watching. So if you haven't hit that like button, please do. We need 8 more people to smash a like on the video for 300 likes, by the way. So do smash a like on the video if you have not already. Just going to read out a few live chats before I end the stream. And Andrew says, moving to a back 5 shows enough with the failures of Ole, especially when we are stacked with so many quality forwards. Exactly. I think the fact that our strength, and I said this at the start of the live stream, I said Ole's playing to our weaknesses, not our strengths. I said Ole's playing to our weaknesses, not our strengths. Our weakness is Maguire, our weakness is defence, yet we're playing defensive football to protect the weaknesses. An elite manager, we're playing to our strengths. Our forwards are our strengths. Going forward is our strength. Our attack is our strength. We've got so many elite wingers. Any top manager would see that we've got so many elite wingers. We're going to play to our strengths. Any elite manager would see that. And they would go, okay, we're going to attack. We're going to play to our strengths. United, unfortunately, aren't doing that. We're not playing to our strengths. And it's embarrassing. But the fact that he went to a back 5 for, I've got so many quality wingers, but I'm going to play a formation that doesn't involve wingers, doesn't involve any of my new signings, involves the same underperforming players, and defend, it should be a sackable offence in itself. And he didn't get sacked for that, which I thought was mad. But we smashed 300 likes on the video, so big up everyone for liking that video. And Stephanie says, losing to Watford is irrelevant. You lost 5-0 at home to Liverpool and he kept his job. Ole isn't going anywhere. Look, I think if you lose to Watford, though, I think the pressure's on. I do think I think despite reports that Ole's job is very, very safe, I still think the pressure's on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think the pressure is more than on. And I think you lose to Watford and that could be maybe the nail in the coffin. But you just don't know with this club. You'd like to think losing to Watford would be the nail in the coffin, but anyone would think if you lose 5-0 to Liverpool, you're sacked. Anyone would think losing 5-0 to Liverpool would be the nail in the coffin. You would be sacked. And he wasn't sacked. And I would like to think if we lost to Watford, he would be sacked. But you just don't know. We could lose to Watford 2-0 and he could be given another chance, because the fact that we've got disgraced by Manchester City, disgraced by Liverpool, and absolutely played horrific versus Atalanta all in the space of 2 weeks, and when we're 6 points off 4th, and the performance has been crap for a while, and we've picked up less points in the last 2 months than Norwich in the Premier League. We haven't won one of our last 5 home games. You think surely any manager will be sacked for that. And he hasn't been sacked for that. And I do sit here and I go, is he going to get sacked for Watford? What's he got to do to be sacked? How bad's it got to get for him to be sacked? I do sit there and I do think, oh my God, how much worse does it have to get for him to be sacked? Because at the moment, it is an absolute disgrace, it's absolutely embarrassing. England are playing in a minute, guys, but I just don't really care because, like, no United players are playing, and I'm not really interested in the World Cup qualifiers. More news has come out saying that Jesse Lingard will leave Manchester United. That's a story coming out, by the way. That's come out, by the way, as well. And yeah, smash a like on the video if you have not already, and do subscribe. Manchester United are back in training. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is back, and apparently Zinedine Zidane is not coming to Manchester United. It could be a PR spin. Since Ole stopped Donny van de Beek's deadline day move to Everton, he's only played 154 minutes from 1,170 that has been available. Shocking treatment. Here's a stat for you guys. Donny van de Beek was very, very close to moving to Everton on deadline day. Donny van de Beek was incredibly close to moving to Everton on deadline day. Ole stopped that move, pulled the plug on the move, and said, Donny, I'm not letting you go because I'm going to play them. Donny's played 154 minutes out of over 1,000 minutes since that. That is shocking treatment of Donny van de Beek. And I think if Donny van de Beek was British, it would get spoken about a lot more. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was Mourinho, it gets spoken about a lot more. But everybody knows, so Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's management and treatment of Donny van de Beek has been one of the worst treatments I've ever seen a player treat a manager in history, because it's not like McFred have been brilliant, and it's not like Donny's been bad. Donny's not even been given a chance. This is the thing. You can't even criticise Donny when he hasn't been given a chance. And the one thing I do love is I think every fan is behind Donny. And despite the Manchester City performance being absolutely atrocious, I love that every Manchester United fan got up to chant Donny's name, to cheer Donny, to make sure he knows that we appreciate him. Because I think that's the only thing keeping him going at Manchester United, because he was a nailed-on Dutch international. He would be nowhere near being dropped, and he can't even get in the Dutch squad. And he has to watch McFred play crap and go, what do I have to do to start over them? He's been lied to by his manager. He could have left United, and he's got absolutely lied to by his manager. And I sit there and I feel absolutely sorry for Donny van de Beek. And I think the one thing that's keeping him going is, as Romano said, that Donny loves the fans. He loves Manchester United, but he can't stay here because it's not sustainable for his career. He would love to stay here if he got given the chance because he loves the fans, but he wants to leave. That's the thing. Zinedine Zidane is on Manchester United's radar, according to Marca. But again, look, we don't want to listen to Marca regarding Zinedine Zidane news. Lots of reports about Zidane to Manchester United at the moment. So many reports about Zidane to Manchester United. But I'm not really going to jump on the Zidane news when Fabrizio Romano has basically come out and said that, Ole's going to be here and all of that. Emma says we need Alice at the wheel. Look, I mean, I can't guarantee I'll do a better job than Ole, but I'd like to think I'd do a better job than Ole right now. But I have no experience, Getting me in is no difference to Ole because I don't have the CV. However, you know what? If I apply for a job at Manchester United in the coaching side, if I'm friends with one of the coaches, I might get a job at Manchester United. It doesn't matter that I'm not qualified to be the coach. If I can be friendly with Phelan or Carrick or McKenna, one of them will get me a job. Doesn't matter what your CV is. If you're friends with the coaches at Manchester United, you can get a job, by the way, guys. So if you do know one of the Man United coaches, you might as well apply for a job. If I was Donny, I would tell Ole to do one. Perhaps he's already done that, hence why he can't get a game. I get the impression that Donny's a very good professional. I get the impression that Donny's a very, very good professional at this point. But if I was Donny, I wouldn't blame him for telling Ole to go do one, because you know what, he should, but he probably hasn't because he's a professional, and Donny knows if he tells Ole to go do one, then he's got no chance of getting game time. I think Donny's sitting there hoping that Ole's going to give him a chance or praying that he gets sacked. And I tell you what, Donny's barely played, and I tell you what, he better play versus Watford, because we ain't seeing McFred again. It's Watford. They're a crap team. If you have to play McFred against Watford, then you're never going to succeed as Manchester United manager. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer believes he can't beat Watford without playing McFred, or Ole Gunnar Solskjaer believes that he's going to concede loads of goals without playing McFred to Watford, then he's not good enough to manage Man United, because this squad should come to be beating Watford, and we shouldn't be having to rely on McFred. Please do smash that like button if you have not already, and subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new to the channel. Cameron said he would drop McFred and Magalhaes easily. I think everyone would. Alice, do you play football? I did play a lot of football before lockdown, before COVID happened, sort of pre-2019, but I haven't really played much since, other than with friends. And Alice, how old are you? You know so much about football. I am 21. A lot of people ask me that, actually. I think the most asked question I get is, how old are you? When we hit 25,000 subscribers, I am actually going to do a Q&A, but not really a football Q&A, just talking about stuff. I thought, you know what, because someone said to me, why haven't you done a Q&A on the channel? And I said, look, when we hit 25k subs, we'll do a Q&A. So make sure to subscribe down below because we are on 23,390 subscribers. We're on 23,390 subscribers. So if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed, it absolutely costs nothing to subscribe. It would be very much appreciated if you do subscribe to the channel because it's a very ambitious goal, but I want to hit 25,000 subscribers by the end of 2021. The goal was 21 by the end of 2021, and we smashed that, guys. We've been smashing it at the moment. So the goal was to hit 25,000 subscribers by the end of 2021. So if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. And what you get by subscribing is just daily sort of Man United live streams where you chit chat with me. I read out your live chats, but I also update you on the news, give you my thoughts on the news. I do watch-alongs, match reactions, match previews, and we do have the January transfer window coming up. And if you were subscribed to me in the summer, you know I'm very, very big on my transfer news. I'm very up to date on my transfer news. I tell you who said what as it is, what I think is going to happen. And I did say I think we'll sign Varane and Sancho. I said I think we'll sign Varane and Sancho for what we heard. And I said, you know, oh, we got Ronaldo. So I'm very good on my transfer news. So do subscribe if you're not subscribed and smash a like on the video. I am going to end the live stream in about a minute because I know the England game is coming up and I know a few people want to watch it. I'm going to do my dinner and I'll probably watch it in the background. And all Manchester United fans should boycott matches and buying merchandise till Ollie's sacked. We should do that till Glazers are out, not till Ollie's sacked. You know, I'm not all of that. I want Ollie sacked because I think we'll be improved with a better manager, but I'm not all about doing this till Ollie's sacked. It should all be about the Glazers being sacked. Ollie ain't going nowhere. Sir Alex Ferguson says Ollie's Man U coach for the rest of the season. If we're not going to get top four, the Glazers will sack Ollie because the Glazers do care about top four more than Ollie because that's money, and the Glazers care about money more than Ollie. We have had a flop, but at least they got opportunities to prove otherwise. Now we have players that don't even get a chance. Donny, Ivanovic, Sancho, Ahmed. Exactly. At least with our previous flops, we knew they were flop for good. You know, Donny, I wouldn't be surprised if Donny Ivanovic gets a move and we're begging for him back. You know, next season when we're stuck with McFred because Pogba, Donny and Matic have left and Donny's smashing it, I bet we'll be sitting in a year's time going, why did we sell Donny? I wish we didn't sell Donny. Look, we could have done with him now. I bet we'll be saying that. I bet if Amad Diallo gets a loan, we'll be saying, oh, he's such a baller. Shame he can't get into the squad. That's the sad thing, you know. There's players like Depay that I thought were going to make it at United and they just didn't work, but they got the chance and they've made it somewhere else. There's players that we signed that I never really wanted and they were just flops. But these players that Ollie's signed that are flops, I feel bad calling them a flop. I won't dare call Donny van de Beek or Jadon Sancho a flop. I think it's way too early to call Jadon Sancho a flop. Plus, when he's come off the bench, he does look quite bright. He looks like he's ready to attack. But I think it's absolutely criminal to call Donny a flop. And I will never call Donny van de Beek a flop because, for me, he never got the chance to even prove himself. And even when he played, I thought he was decent. You know, a flop is someone that plays and they're not great and then they don't play since. With Donny, even when he plays, he's decent. And I would feel absolutely horrific calling him a flop. Alice, will we beat Liverpool 5-0 at Anfield in our lifetime? I'd like to say yes, but I mean, look, has that even happened before? I think as much as I'd like to say yes, I think again that is very, very unlikely, which is an absolute shame. But guys, I am going to wrap up the live stream here. So if you have not already, please smash that like button. It costs nothing to hit that like button. Please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news and updates. We're 10 subscribers away from 23.4k. So if you're watching right now and you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. It would mean the world to me. We're on the road to 25k. So if you're not subscribed, smash a subscribe, smash a like. I'll probably be live tomorrow if any news comes out. But if no news really comes out tomorrow, then I'll be live again on Wednesday. I'll be live throughout the week. I know it's the international break. I do normally go live every night, but because of the international break, it's just all about the news. But I will definitely be live over the weekend for a watch along. So subscribe for watch alongs to all the Manchester United matches, to match reactions, match previews, transfer news, updates on Ollie's future. Because I tell you this now, Ollie's safe for now, but I still don't believe he'll be here by Christmas. So keep an eye on Zidane, keep an eye on Brendan Rodgers, because I still think there's more to come from these rumours, despite Romano putting it in the mud today and saying, look, Ollie's safe for now. I still think there's more to come in the coming weeks. So do make sure you subscribe for that. Thanks to everyone getting involved in the live chat. Got a lot of good comments in and all of that. So drop a like on the way out, as Andrew says, and get your Q&A in Ask Alice. If we hit 25k subscribers, I will be doing a Q&A. Oh, one last thing, by the way, guys. One last thing, actually, before you leave, bear with me. My second channel, the one with Alice, I've done a tier list video because I don't really upload much on the second channel. I'm a little bit lazy. But what I'm going to do with you guys is I'm just going to share my screen. Share my screen. How do I share my screen? Bloody hell. Here we go. Can you see that? The one with Alice. This is my second channel. I don't really promote it much. But we've just done a cheeky video on the second channel, tier listing managers. We've done this video here, and it's I'm not going to play it because I'm annoying. But we ranked every Premier League manager from best to worst. So I'll give you a little bit of spoiler. So do go check that out, by the way, if you have not already. Because my next video on my second channel is going to be tier listing Manchester United football YouTubers. So I'm going to do a tier list ranking all football YouTubers for my next video on the second channel. So my second channel is more of a talk about every football club, not just Manchester United chill vibes. And the Premier League manager video got the most votes, followed by ranking football YouTubers. So let me know which football YouTubers you want me to rank in the live chat and in the comments of that video and this video. Let me know if you want me to rank any football YouTubers for my next tier list. But yeah, do check that out. But yeah, as I said, everybody, thanks for watching. Smash a like, smash a subscribe. See you next time. Bye.